low cost. On the BRS 160, we're using two-part because that's what the BRS TV viewers voted for, but it was a close vote, and a Kalkwasser calcium reactor hybrid was just a few votes shy of winning. Honestly, I wouldn't get too wrapped up in which one is best because they all work fine on most tanks. We have in-depth videos on each one from week 30 to 32 if you want to learn more. On an SPS tank, you should also test for calcium and alkalinity more frequently. On the BRS 160, I test for alkalinity daily and calcium weekly. I use a HANA DKH checker because I can get an alkalinity reading in about 60 seconds without the normal BS with test kits. After the tank is stabilized around the amount of livestock and our calcium and alkalinity solution matches the coral's consumption in the tank, I'll probably only test alkalinity 1 to 2 times a week, and calcium maybe only every other week. The reason we test for alkalinity frequently is just because there's less of it in the water, so it drops faster, and alkalinity impacts all sorts of elements of water chemistry. Since calcium and alkalinity are consumed together, it generally gives me a good pulse on the overall consumption of both. I also have a chart where I record it so I can see the effects of dosage changes, coral growth, or new addition of corals. This is a great practice regardless of where you are in the hobby. All in all, managing calcium and alkalinity is the main hurdle with SPS corals, and while it may seem intimidating in the beginning, if you take the time to figure out what you're doing and why, it's super easy to replace and manage. Really, anyone can do it. Next big difference about SPS tanks is flow. SPS tanks enjoy really high flow, like 50 times tank size turnover, so a 120-gallon tank could easily have 2 3,000-gallon-per-hour power heads or 4 1,500-gallon power heads. Many SPS dominant tanks will be even higher. They also like varied flow, which can be cool DC power heads like Tunes, Vortex, the Gyre, or Neptune's wave pump, all of which would slowly ramp up and down and do all kinds of varied flow patterns. Or it can be as simple as a couple low-cost Hydors, Tunes Nanos, or those ultra-low-profile CJ Extremes on an on-off style wave maker, or even just a couple timers with one pump set to be on for 8 hours, the other for 8 hours, and then both for 8 hours, which is a 24-hour-a-day cycle. Really anything that varies the flow up. SPS corals don't appreciate being blasted all day, every day in the exact same way. They'll show it with tissue loss or really strange growth patterns. The BRS 160 has 4 Tunes 6095s, which is 10,000 gallons an hour and over 60 times the tank size. Since they're varied flow, my guess is they range between 25 and 45 times tank size as they slowly ramp up and down in various ways. In terms of lighting, everyone will agree that SPS corals require more light than other corals, but after that, there's a lot of some practical knowledge where reefers have seen the most success with the artificial lighting sources we have available to us. Given the two options, I'm just going to skip the debate and share why we believe a PAR range of 2 to 300 to be the sweet spot of what we consider to be high PAR, and why we commonly refer to over 300 as very high PAR, based on what I'd refer to as practical knowledge and common experiences within the hobby with common equipment. To do that, we use a Giesmann Spectra T5 halide hybrid fixture with a 250-watt single-ended 14.5K Giesmann Megachrome bulb, 2 ATI Blue Plus bulbs, and 2 ATI Coral Plus bulbs. Pretty much every experienced reefer will likely agree that this light is capable of producing a pretty epic SPS tank where lighting isn't a major limiting factor. Well, it might not be the highest PAR option out there. It's representative of the standard home installs where there's a balance between attractive spectrum and PAR. We tested the PAR in this 30-inch cube using the Lecor PAR meter at 2 depths, 6 and 12 inches from the surface. At 6 inches deep, right under the bulb, you're seeing PAR in the upper 400s, which might be why you commonly hear reefers recommending 4 to 500 PAR for SPS tanks. But 6 inches to the left or right or front or back of the bulb, you're seeing numbers in the 2 to 300s. However, 12 inches deep, which is the center of the tank, we're seeing a huge swath from the low to high 200s. So outside of the hot spots, directly into the bulbs, most of the top half of the tank, we're going to see low 200s to low 300s. And with the BRS team